Every year, about 30 or 40 times a year, I say these words. And now the powers vested in me by the state of Missouri and this St. Stanislaus Church, I hereby pronounce you married couple. Then people are clapping, mothers are crying, and then two people walk happily out and hopefully into their honeymoon. I think some of you were married here with me as the officiant, so you remember the day very well. I hope some of you I will get to marry one day as well. If you are still looking for a minister, I volunteer my services. Last year, for the very first time actually, in Missouri, in St. Louis, we could legally marry same-sex couples too. So I was honored for the very first time ever to say twice this formula with two people of the same gender. So it's a big honor and big power that the state grants to priests and ministers to officiate at weddings. And the formula says that with the powers vested in me by the state of Missouri and this church. So the power of the minister to officiate weddings comes from the top. First, the church needs to hire someone to officially recognize him or her as a minister. And then a church needs to be recognized by a state as a church for me to perform any weddings. So it's not a power that comes from the couple who asks me to do their wedding. The power to officiate is vested in me by the state and the church. But I could have all the power I want. If nobody asks me to do the wedding, I would not do any weddings. Right? There need to be people who think of me highly enough, or who are desperate enough, for me to perform any weddings whatsoever. Power itself is not enough. I need people who want me as their officiant. I need people who actually will give me authority to perform their wedding. And that's a difference I want to talk about today. A difference between power and authority. When Jesus came to Capernaum and he was preaching, we don't know what did he say. But people were saying, hey, he's talking with authority. Unlike the scribes or the preachers that we are used to. And then when he expelled what they called demon from a person, they said, look at him. Some kind of a new teaching with authority. Now, authority, unlike power, does not come from the top. Authority is entrusted by the people from the bottom up. Your parents have power over you. But for them to have authority, you as a child need to give them authority over you. Your wife has power over you, let's face it. But for that power to be successfully executed, you need to give her authority to exercise that power over you. A church, a government, city government has power over us. But for them to validly and legitimately exercise that power, we need to give them authority to do that. Not every power has legitimate authority. And not everyone with authority has power. They are two different things. When people hear Jesus talk in the synagogue today, they don't say he has a power. They say he speaks with authority. We are in a dire need of having people not only with power, but with authority in our country and in our church. Too many people are power hungry, but not enough people have authority to use this power in a legitimate and moral way. On a personal level, I believe it is a good time for us to ask ourselves, to whom do I give authority over my life? Very seldom do we have a choice who has a power over me. But we do have a choice to whom we grant authority over our lives. What or who has authority over you? Is it mighty dollar? Is it your job? Is it your school? Is it your relationship? Is it that girl that you are thinking about every day? Is it your ex that you cannot get off your mind? What or who holds authority over my life? And let's make those choices fully aware that I am giving that person or I'm giving that thing an authority in my life. As Christians, as Catholics, there is one person we should always start with. And no, I don't mean your priest, unless you want me to do your wedding. As Christians, we should give ultimate authority to Jesus Christ. He is the one, his teaching, his preaching is the place where we should rest authority over our lives. If you give all the power and authority to Jesus, your life will be free of demons. You'll be liberated and you will be loved. Amen.